Well, good morning, folks, and welcome into Cal's Corner. We cover anything and everything sports related. So we cover four, but now we've added two more to the repertoire here. We do cover the WSHL, the MASL, the Southern California Collegiate Baseball League, the WNBA, and now including the Pac-West Conference for NCAA Division II Athletics, and tonight, the Arena Football League. And we bring Cal's Corner back live and in full on both the Calamac 94 YouTube channel and on calamac.wix.com/calamac sports. You know me very well. I'm Callan McClurg, your host for the day. I am joined today by one of my close friends here at Point Loma Nazarene University, superstar basketball player Jessica Escorza joins me this morning here. Jess, thanks for taking the time out of the Saturday. I know it's been busy the past couple of days and weeks. Graduation, of course, for both of us coming up very closely. Other than that, how's everything been going?
Everything's been good. A little weird with, season being over, but it's good. It's nice to have a little break.
Yeah, I think everyone appreciates the break. If you guys want to get involved on social media, on Twitter, at Calamac3, hashtag Cal's Corner, or in the Q&A bar, black box right here, and we can go from there. So, Jess, even before we talk about, everything you've done over college and high school, going back to when you were, growing up, and also, folks, disclaimer, we're a week and 2 years apart, so that always helps. But, Jess, growing up with two brothers, though, Anthony and Matt back home, okay, so how did things work? Was it you looking up to them, or were they more so looking up to you as the sister of the family?
Yeah. I think it was more so them looking up to me. My youngest brother definitely looks up to me the most, and I think my middle brother, we're all 3 years apart. He's got a good head on his shoulders right now. He's in the Army, so he's doing really well, and everyone, we all kind of grew up supporting one another. So, yeah.
Yeah. So. And I also have a brother myself as well, but we're completely polar opposites in case anyone out there is wondering. So just, people ask a lot, what inspires you, to do something. Now, I was a baseball player, but I played basketball when I was 6. Two inspirations, Michael Jordan and Space Jam, in case anyone's wondering. What about you, though?
Inspiration. Well, I started playing at a very young age, and just growing up playing it, I actually went through a short period where I kind of burnt out and kind of lost the love for the game. So I kind of had to find that back myself, and actually coming to Point Loma kind of sparked that up again for me, for my love for basketball. So I've always played. I've always loved it. I would definitely say my parents were my motivation throughout playing in college, just because, one of my biggest goals was to get a scholarship to play in college, and just to get college paid for in general. So they are probably my biggest inspiration for playing.
Yeah, so a lot of people would say your parents, older siblings perhaps could be as well. So when you were growing up, now, even though it says South Riding, Virginia on the game day programs this season, you were born in Tampa, though. So when you were watching basketball, we're 90s kids, so we had, the Bulls in the 90s. We had, the Lakers turning around with Kobe and Shaq. And on the women's side, of course, you have to start the WNBA in 1997. But growing up in Florida, were you more so with Shaq with the Magic, or was it Alonzo Mourning with the Heat?
Honestly, well, I was born in Tampa, but then right when I was born, I don't even remember living there. So we moved from Tampa to Los Angeles, in Valencia, actually. And so I grew up being a Lakers fan when it was, Kobe, Shaq, Robert Horry, the whole dynasty going on. But that's who I grew up watching.
Yeah. So we're both Laker fans here, in case someone out there is wondering. Okay, so going to your high school career. Okay, there's a lot here. 4-time Letterman. You leave Freedom High School as the all-time assist leader. Then you lead Notre Dame Academy to the state championship. So, what sticks out in your mind when you think about some of these accolades that you did rack up in high school?
Yeah, it was definitely a roller coaster in high school. Not something I was expecting, to go to all these different schools. But I did get the chance to go to Notre Dame Academy and play with some amazing players. I was a sophomore, and there were girls. There was Mia Nixon, Azania Stewart, who all went to very good schools, D1 level. And playing with them, I think, definitely motivated me even more to get better. So then returning to Freedom, I got to be with two of my best friends again and finish out my career there. And it couldn't have been a better high school career for me.
Absolutely. So then following high school, you do commit to Wofford, where you played one season, started 14 games. So a lot of people that want to know, what is the biggest transition, though, for high school athletes, any sport, going from the high school game to the college game, and what do you think it is?
I think it's the demand that you're asked to put into the sport in college. it's a lot more serious. It's a lot more intense at the college level. You have morning workouts, you have conditioning, you have weights, you have practice every day for as long as the coach wants. So I kind of did have to start looking at it as a job because they are paying you to play basketball. So you have to take it a lot more serious. You have to really be able to give it your all, and if you're not going to be able to do that, then you're not going to be able to fully commit to your team and your coaches.
A lot of athletes have told me that high school to college is probably the bigger transition, more so than the college to the pro level. So after your 1 year at Wofford, you find yourself here in San Diego at Point Loma Nazarene. So what factors made you decide to come here as opposed to possibly staying somewhere close to home?
Yeah, so my dad actually got a job transfer, so my entire family was moving over to the West Coast, and I didn't want to be the only one over there on the East Coast. So it was actually just a random situation that I found Point Loma. Had never heard of the school. I was at a gym with my dad in LA working out, and Coach Allen happened to be there because there was a tournament going on. And he saw me working out and actually came up to me and he said, "Hey, like, have you heard of our school?" And, 3 months later, I'm out here on a visit, and Coach Westphal, I work out with the team, and they end up offering me a scholarship to come here, and, I came here that next year. So it was very blessing that it happened that way.
Kind of a small world, huh?
Very small world.
So as we go to your first year here, your sophomore year overall, you're selected to the NCCAA all West Region team and all Pac West honorable mention, along with leading the team and made free throws. And you put up 20 or more points in 5 games. So is this when you kind of said to yourself, things have finally clicked? Yeah. Is that where it kind of came to you?
Yeah, it actually did. I had an amazing team here. I had a group of girls that we all were just very close. Our team was amazing. I played with one of the best point guards I've ever played with in my basketball career, Savannah Erskine. And it was just, things just clicked. I realized, hey, I can do this. And I think I lost a lot of confidence in myself playing at my other school. And, coming here and being with the coaches and my teammates, we all pushed each other a lot. So, everything just clicked.
Something I always say is change of scenery always helps athletes. So, obviously, the change of scenery from Wofford to Point Loma has obviously helped.
It did. It definitely helped. And I think the weather here helps a lot, too.
Of course it does. It's never rains in Southern California. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So, as we go to your junior year, history's made. You join current assistant coach Colleen Planeta, the only two players have done this in PLNU women's basketball history, posting a triple-double, 16 points, 10 and 10, against who we're playing out there on the baseball field today, playing against California Baptist. Okay, so is it more special that you're in the history books, or more so because you did it against Point Loma's biggest rivals?
I think both, honestly. And it was, I think it was on our senior night. Actually, so it was there. That made it even better. And I remember that game like it was yesterday. We were almost down 20 at halftime, and we basically thought the game was over. And we literally made one of the best comebacks I think we've ever made, and it was great. And I love that it was against Cal Bap.
Biggest comeback in your career?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember having comebacks that big, maybe a few, but I don't recall them off the top of my head. So then, Jess, off the court, you do graduate, bachelor's degree, but then you decided to come back to the team during the off season for one last go-around, as you've mentioned it. So as you're thinking about this, what's going through your mind as you're thinking about, do I want to stay, do I want to go, or, your mindset, I guess, about making this decision?
Yeah, it was definitely a tough decision to return from my grad year, more so because all the girls I came in with, they would be gone and graduated, and I knew it would be an entire new team. So that did kind of worry me a little. But I think the biggest thing for me was getting my credentials and getting, that out of the way, because I know if I waited or, waited 5 years down the road to complete my master's, it just would have been a longer process. So I knocked a lot out of this way this year, and it's very nice to almost be done with my program.
That's why it's student athlete first. For any of our younger viewers out there, you're student first, athlete second, as I say a lot too. So when the final roster for the season does get announced, you see that you and Jess Johnson are the only two seniors on the team for one. But in regards to you, though, how does that make you feel in regards to being both the leader of the locker room, heart and soul of the team, but also being that vocal leader or quiet leader, as I've called you many a times?
It was a transition for me this year, just because I have always been a silent leader. I've never had to be the one who was a vocal leader. So that actually was something I worked on this year, and I think it definitely helped me. A lot of the girls, I think, they actually told me they were a little scared of me in the beginning, which is silly. But no, it was good for me to have to kind of step up and step out of my comfort zone and do something I wasn't used to doing.
How could they be scared of you?
Yeah, I know. That's what I told them.
I don't see how that's possible. So in an interview later in the season that you did done on television, I recall you saying that your main goal was for the team to finish over 500 for the entire year. Any reason why you kept your expectations for this year kind of low key?
Yeah, I think it was just because I was nervous with how young of a team we had. We had so many freshmen. I think it was 7 or 8, and then we have 4 sophomores. 2 juniors and 2 seniors. So it was very rough in the beginning of the season, and we did not start out well. And I wanted us to finish above 500. And the girls, the team, they exceeded my limits. And at the end of the season, I told them I couldn't have asked for a better team to play with this year.
So the first game of the season, you guys open up with Cal Poly Pomona, who at the time was number two in the country, in NCAA 2 basketball, and you guys beat them. Yeah. So how important was it though to get the first win, but more importantly against a ranked national opponent?
It's always important to get your first win, regardless if you lose the next 6 games. You want to get that first win, in my opinion. It just kind of sets a tone for your season, and I think we set a tone for ourselves that first game when we beat Pomona, and we scrimmaged San Diego State, the 2 weekends before or something, and we lost by like 2 points, and we all knew we were good. It was just a matter of getting that chemistry to be consistent with us, which was our biggest struggle this year.
Team chemistry, of course, new team, of course, it's not there at first, but later in the year it does pick up. So as the season does draw to a close, good showing in the conference tournament. You guys do beat BYU Hawaii, and of course that Cal Bat team again get you guys at the buzzer. But you guys do finish 20-12 overall. So as you guys are waiting around on Selection Sunday, what's the mood like in the room as you guys are anxiously waiting to see, where are we going to fall in this picture for the NCAA D2 West Regional?
It was very nerve-wracking. I remember we were actually told that it would be very, very slim chance that we would even get picked. So a lot of us, we were kind of scattered around everywhere. There were some watching it in the dorms, some were out at a restaurant watching it. But we were all watching, and I think a lot of us thought we weren't going to get selected. So I think we kind of accepted that, hey, we did so much already this season. We exceeded a lot of limits that we didn't even think we would break. And then our name popped up, and I think my phone wouldn't stop buzzing for 10 minutes because everyone was texting one another. But there were a lot of funny Snapchats, there was a lot of Instagrams. It was just a great day.
Great day all around. I mean, to see, and above all, it's the first NCAA D2 berth for the university as well, which is always great to see as well. So you guys get the invite to the regional, and out of all the places, Jess, Anchorage, Alaska. Any initial thoughts you want to say about going to Anchorage beforehand?
I just immediately thought cold. That's all that was going through my head. And I had heard of Anchorage. I knew they were a good team. I saw the other teams that were selected to go, and I think just the fact that we got selected, I think that was our motivation in itself right there.
So as I wrote on calamac.wix.com/CalMac Sports, folks, odds are stacked against you guys in so many categories. Number 8 seed playing the number 1 team, who, by the way, just happened to go 29-1 on the season, and a 20-game winning streak to top it all off. And, of course, just 2,500 people all against you guys, hostile environment. What was Coach Westphal and or your pregame message before the game?
Man, I have never played in an environment like we did in Anchorage. There was not one Point Loma fan in there. It was all Anchorage fans. The people were yelling at us while we were warming up. It was a crazy environment. And I couldn't have asked for a better game to play in. I think as an athlete, that's every game that you work for. And so to have that game, be ending my career in that way, it was perfect. And I couldn't have asked for a better team to do it with. We were all motivated. Everyone literally left every single amount of effort they could on the court. So
So in spite of all that I just listed, you guys are on fire to start that game. I mean, you start the game, then Anna, Madison, Riley, Chip. It's 14-0, 14-0 at the first media timeout. I'm over here breaking Twitter like this is crazy that the number 8 team is taking it to the top team right now in the region. So, what were your thoughts on that first half? Because you guys were smoking to start that first half.
I remember looking at the score, and I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, like, we're winning. Like, this is not real. Just because they are a very good team, and I knew we would be able to compete with them. But I was even shocked myself how well we came out and played. But it was perfect. I mean, like I said, that's what you want. That's what all you could ask for from your teammates, is that they do their best.
One of my friends talking to me last night about 1 o'clock in the morning, he said, hey, that game in Anchorage, did you guys go to beginner mode on NBA 2K15 for that first half?
It was, I don't know what hit with us. I mean, I think we saw that, hey, everyone is rooting against us, so what do we have to lose? We might as well go all out for this game, and if we lose, everyone expects us to lose, we'll say we gave it our all, but if we win, how amazing would that be, and what an amazing way to represent your school.
So eventually, UAA does grab the lead. Jenna Buchanan, who had a tremendous season for the Seawolves, makes the 3, puts them up by 1, 9 seconds left. What is Westfall telling you guys during that timeout?
Yeah, so it was actually an amazing call by him, probably the best call he's made this season.
Not all time, right?
No, not all time, not all time. But he basically used me and Maddie as a decoy, because Anchorage, right when we got off from our timeout to inbound the ball, they immediately had 2 girls on me. And they had, I want to say 1 or 2 girls on Maddie, of course, because they knew one of us would take the shot. Roya was wide open, which I don't know why they did that. And basically the play was for Roya to get the ball and go as far as she can with it and make a layup. And that's what she did, and she won the game for us, and that's why she's freshman of the year. She's an amazing player.
Well, she read my mind, folks, because the final possession, Roya takes the ball the length of the floor, spins around one player, takes it to the rack, and makes the basket. Yeah. Okay, so she makes the basket. Sydney's going crazy on the bench, because I recall seeing the replay. What were you thinking? What's running through your mind as you're looking like, we're about to do, this is about to be Point Loma basketball history here.
Yeah. I remember thinking, okay, they can't make a half-court shot. We have to stop them. There's I don't know what, there was 2-3 seconds left, 2 seconds. And I was like, okay, we need to defend. We cannot foul. And then immediately when the buzzer went off, I just got chills throughout my whole body. And I just smiled. I couldn't stop smiling.
So the final buzzer does sound. Sea Lions win 64-63. All of us back home are breaking social media for you guys. Any way to describe, mobbing, being mobbed by your teammates on their home floor at the Alaska Airlines Center in Anchorage, seeing that final score?
Yeah, it's something that I will never forget. I will never forget that arena, the atmosphere. I won't ever forget every other team in that tournament thanking us for beating them. It was perfect. It was a great day, and it was definitely a game where you were emotionally drained, physically drained, just because you've given everything you can, and yeah, and it paid off.
I can say firsthand, I could not breathe for half an hour after the final buzzer sounded. I'll just admit that right now. So the elation, of course, of you guys beating the number 1 team, and then again that same California Baptist school again, of course, ends the season sadly. But it was a struggle though, playing the Lancers home or away. Is they're all they're good across the board in every sport. It doesn't matter what it is. So in your mind, what parts do you think though you guys struggled in though when you did play Cal Bap home or away?
Yeah, I think we went, like I just said, from such an emotional high, such a physical high, and we're playing a team that's back in our conference that we just played a week ago. It's hard to play a team, 3-4 times throughout a season, because you literally know how one another plays. And Cal Bap is a great team. They have an amazing coach, and I actually love playing them just because they are such a good team. And they're fun to compete with. But I think we all knew, we were like, God, we gotta play them again. But I can say myself, I was in that game, still thinking about Anchorage. It's, how do you not? So it was a bummer to go out that way, because I know we could have competed better, and I know we could have put on a better show. but it's, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, I think everyone was out of commission for that game with Cal Baptist. But Jess, more importantly, though, I mean, staying with this, I mean, what does it mean for you and the team to know that you guys had the support, from either, family, friends, and others back on campus or on social media, and to see them greet you guys how they greeted you when you guys came back on campus from Anchorage?
That was very neat. I did not know that was going to happen. You're exhausted from traveling all day, and then you see that when you pull up, and how do you not smile at that? Point Loma is, I don't think you would find that at any other school. Like, this is, everyone genuinely and sincerely cares about you here. And that just, it was very great to see, and a great feeling.
Absolutely. Jess, we're getting ready to sort of wind down here. As you look at it, graduation's on the horizon, ever so close. As you look, how special has it been to be here at Point Loma Nazarene University, and above all, too, in sunny San Diego?
Oh yeah, well, I never plan on leaving San Diego. This school has definitely helped me realize who I am as a person. Everyone here, from the professors to the students to the staff, administration, they're just all really great. And I couldn't have asked for a better school to come to. I couldn't have asked for a better school to graduate from and, get my degree. And I've definitely, my teammates, there's girls that I've played with that I will be friends with forever. It's really been an overall amazing experience here, and it's been a great fit for me.
I haven't had to ask this question because I've interviewed 2 professional athletes earlier, but, college, of course. What are the few things you're going to miss about being here? Is it kind of, because I know for me it's going to be different not seeing your name on the roster next year, doing stats for the basketball games. So in your mind, what are you going to miss most about being here?
One of the biggest things is I'm going to miss, having a team. But I think, I already see them, doing their postseason workouts. And, they also obviously hang out together, which it's sad, but then it makes me very happy because I know these girls, have 3 more years to play. And I remember how I was, a freshman thinking, God, this is so cool. Like, I'm going to play with these girls for the next 3 years. So it's very exciting because I'm excited to see them build and grow. And we have some amazing players here, and I'm excited for their futures. So that makes me very happy. But I'm just going to miss coming here and, working out and, going to classes. And I'll come back and visit, of course, but, it's definitely going to be tough, just coming to games this season and just watching them play and, not putting on the uniform or not going in that locker room, every day. But it's good. It's time for a change, and it's time to, move on and go forward with life and, let this group of girls right now, build their time here.
Just one more question before we kind of go off the floor here. So now that your playing days are over, what do you see yourself doing in the future? Because I know special education is coming up very closely. Of course, your mom's a big advocate for it as well. So what are your future plans, once school is done?
So once school is done, I'm talking to a few different places about playing overseas, actually. So I am thinking about playing and continuing for a few more seasons just to see how it goes. So if that goes into play, then I would love for that to happen. But definitely, begin teaching. I want to teach special ed. I want to actually go into adaptive PE. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird because you have to think of all these, grown-up things, and you're not in college anymore. But I'm very excited to kind of transition into that adult part of life.
Now, obviously, on a personal level, of course, as you folks may know very well, this was the person I wrote the story about on callanmac.wix.com. And again, I had no way to send her the story when I first wrote it back in February, a week before her last home game, until my outstanding colleague Chris Davis sent her the story. So, Jess, obviously, I'm sure you're not one for media attention either with Fox 5, as we articulated earlier. But, how does that make you feel, though, knowing that, there are people, believe it or not, that actually do cover women's, either women's basketball or women's athletics in general?
Yeah, I think it was kind of a shock to me because you're right. I'm not one for media attention. I kind of like to be behind the scenes. So it was weird because I've never had anyone, write an article about me or do, something of that sort. So it kind of took me off guard, and, it's neat that anyone would like that.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, I know that specifically the WNBA struggles, of course, plenty of times media attention, more so in the media for the bad side of the stories, arrests, brawls, whatever it may be. But just in your mind, though, what can we sort of do to try to grow the game of women's basketball in your mind?
Yeah, I think honestly it just requires people, being more interested in it. And a lot of people think, oh, women's basketball, it's so boring. But when you go to games and you actually, follow a team, it's really not boring. And, yeah, you know what I mean? And, we put in just as much work as, any other teams do. So, I definitely think the way the WNBA is going and growing, I think it's so cool to see because I remember days when I was younger where the WNBA was not even thought of. And I think for players, like Elena Delle Donne or Brittany Griner, I think they have kind of given more recognition to the sport that we play, and it's very cool to see. And it's very cool that, even a small school at Point Loma can get coverage like it does.
Speaking of EDD, shout out to Kelsey Buchanan, your longtime friend, who told me at halftime at your senior game, former teammate of EDD, and of course I've loved seeing Elena play, and I'll be making a few trips to LA over the summer to see the Sparks play New York and Connecticut, taking my dad for Father's Day, so we'll see how that goes. Other than that, Jess, anything else you'd like to say before we cut out here?
No, I think you covered everything, and thank you for everything this season. You've been great, and yeah, I'm sure the girls are looking forward to another season this year and, continuing on what we've built here.
Building a very good reputation here at PLNU. With that, folks, we want to thank Jessica Escorza for stopping by. By the way, Mr. Davis wanted you to drop by the baseball field after we're done here. He wanted to talk to you for a few. With that, folks, we hope you enjoyed our first live broadcast here on Cal's Corner inside Golden Gym. Jess's home away from home here at PLNU. Until next time, folks, have a safe day. Drive home safely. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy the rest of your day. She's Jess. I'm Cal. We'll see you folks next time here. And who knows who may be in this chair next time on Cal's Corner covering anything and everything sports related. See you folks next time. Bye-bye.